Okay, hello. This is not something I would usually make, but recently there's been a video made by somebody by the name of Slicerr claiming that I cheat all of my completions or whatever. Uh, and this video that I made, it's just really to say like that it's not really true, anything that's in that video, because anything that I've done illegitimately, I've already confessed to doing illegitimately, publicly enough. I've stated it in multiple servers, and I'm not list banned or anything. And in this video, I'm just gonna be transparent about, what I did cheat, what I didn't cheat, uh, and I'll go over what he says in his video and just say why it isn't true. Okay, so to start this off, I wanna first mention that Slicerr, the person who made the video accusing me, is somebody who I've spoken to quite extensively about my legitimacy, and I've offered him a live play. I've showed him the files on my PC, like all the videos. I've showed him everything, man. And I've offered to play in front of him on screen share. I've played in front of him on screen share, and he told me that he'd stop because he saw it as adequate proof. But uh, as time went on, he's decided otherwise, and he kept on going. And yeah. Okay, moving on to the actual elements of his video that I want to talk about. He says that I used cuts and gives multiple examples of me using cuts. However, the cuts that he shows in the videos are not cuts, they are just frame skips, which are in everybody's completions because they're actually just impossible to avoid. OBS Studio, no matter how good your PC is, it will skip a frame. It will skip at least one frame in like a 10-minute recording, no matter how good your computer is, how high your settings are. So, I'm gonna put two examples side by side, one from his video and one from Monster is a Block, one from his Stairway to Heaven completion, and you'll see that like the cuts, quote unquote, are identical. The next thing I want to talk about is this weird thing that he's accusing me of. I don't even know what he's accusing me of here, to be honest with you, but he claims that turning around like this in a single frame isn't possible, and this was already disproven by a friend of mine, Skitsooner, actually, in the Eternal Abyss server, and it is very possible. All you need to do is zoom in fast, and it happens in a frame. The next thing that I want to talk about is the cut that he mentions on CYV for some reason. Uh, I told him that this cut was here, and I actually showed it to him on screen share because I've been I don't think it's anything that I need to be open about, to be honest with you. But I've always been open about using cuts in my completions for the sake of viewer enjoyment, and all that this cut does is skips the healing. I didn't move a single frame. I have the same camera position, the same character position in both of the frames, even though I waited 60 seconds to heal. It literally just cuts out the healing, and I told him about this cut, so I don't understand why it's in the video, to be honest with you. But you'll find sped up and cut out healing in pretty much everybody's completions nowadays because nobody wants to watch anyone heal. The next thing I would like to talk about is the things that I actually did cheat. I've been pretty transparent about this ever since this document came out. Uh, the document claims that I faked stargazing and Tower of the Floor, like I admitted to faking those two. Uh, and I want to just say I admitted to faking stargazing, but the admission for Tower of the Floor is just not true. I didn't admit to faking Tower of the Floor because it's not fake. It has cuts in the completion, as I said in the description of the video, because I wanted it to be a speed run. I cut out all the waiting, I cut out all the unnecessary segments of the video, and I said that in the description. I've always said that, so I don't understand why that was in the document. Next, Elegance and Frozen Coma. Uh, I said that those were legit uh, because they are to an extent. They are completions that I did with a different FPS than is allowed. So for Frozen Coma, I used 63 FPS and overlaid a 60 FPS micro profiler. This was in my own place where I added an FPS switching script so I could switch with just the click of a key press. I think I binded it to Q and E. And then, yeah. And then if I scroll down in the document, it says I had Durukan on my account for Tower of Impending Doom. I don't really know what I can do to prove him wrong. I mean, I didn't, but, you know, you can believe what you want to. I don't really care too much about TOID. Apparently, he says that for the COIV finale fail, that was also Durukan on my account, but I feel like that's kind of redundant now since I've beaten COIV and it is very clearly me. It's my playstyle. It has traits of the recording that are like unique to just me. It has the controller shift lock on the side. It has a bunch of traits that are just not really linkable to any other player, especially not Durukan. And next, it talks about my Tower of Spatial Awareness completion. This is not my completion. I uploaded this with permission from Skitsuna because when the Iliaria account was coming out and it was like admitted to be an alt account, I thought it would be funny to upload the video, so I asked Skitsuna, can I steal a random horrific and just upload it as a joke? And then he said sure and gave me the link to the video when it was unlisted at the time. And I just downloaded it with some YouTube to MP4 tool, uploaded it, and yeah. And then next it says that I have a Ukraine tower win with coincidentally no progress messages. I am not the only person to beat horrifics with no progress messages. I have them off for most of the things that I grind, although turning them off wasn't a feature at the time. It says I possibly HHJ'd or fast flagged it. Both of those are reasonable suspicions. However, I did not fast flag it. I did HHJ it. I didn't use com offset or anything like that because I wouldn't be able to get the checkpoints with that. But I did use some HHJ skips at the time, and this was before HHJ was actually bannable in the Eternal Abyss, so I wasn't punished for this formally. But yeah. The next thing I want to move on to is the claim that I'm unable to provide raw footage for anything. I provide raw footage for all of my completions. It's just that I usually provide the raw footage privately. In more recent times, this has been because my raw footage for COIV specifically contains quite a lot of personal information. I was on FaceTime with someone close to me for literally all of the completion from 4 to WinPad, like literally 50 minutes I was on FaceTime with them. And I tab out onto my college dashboard, which would reveal my full name, where I live, the college that I go to, all of that stuff. So I have not given the raw footage for that publicly, but I have given the raw footage to the former owner of Top Towers Community. He was the owner when I beat the Citadel, and he has confirmed that the completion is legit. He also added me to obby ranks and gave me the role in Top Towers, so I feel like that's kind of enough proof that it's legit if someone can validate it like that. But I won't be providing raw footage for that one. And in regards to my old completions, I've switched computers, so I'm kind of missing the raw footage for a lot of them. I could get them if people were like that bothered and release them publicly, but like all those completions were like they already had the raw footage provided for them. I was given the role in the Top Towers community. I did not give myself the role. And I know that that might sound quite contradictory to what the document says, as it shows a screenshot of me not opening any tickets, but the screenshot only refers to my new username first off. I believe the transcripts channel has actually been deleted and remade since then, and there was also a point in time where the ticket bot was down, so transcripts didn't actually exist. So it's simply just impossible to truly know if I did open all those tickets or not. And also the ticket system has changed so many times. Like the way that they searched for it was like something that was new to the server. We used to have it sorted just like as tickets, and now it's sorted as list and server tickets. And it shows in the document list and then my new account's username, It doesn't say my old account. It doesn't say like anything from beforehand. It doesn't say it doesn't have like before we changed ticket bots, anything like that. So it's covering a very small time span where I actually just didn't beat anything. So I feel like that's a bit unfair to bring up. The next thing I want to talk about is what happened after the document was made. This document was made, I believe, in November, and I was given a partial list ban, not because the completions were fake, but because I was the owner at the time, and it's kind of deceiving to be the owner of the Top Towers community and post content that isn't fully legitimate, despite it being like completely regular gameplay. Um, I'll put on screen what my list ban conditions were, and just know that any role that I get in the server from now on follows these conditions. The next thing that I want to talk about is something that's less about proof and more about my personal experience with Slicerr, the person who made the video about me. Uh, I've spoken to him extensively about my legitimacy, as I did say in the beginning of the video, and I've given him more than enough proof that I'm a good player. Not necessarily that I beat not necessarily that I beat COIV legitimately, because I'm not willing to provide raw footage when it puts my personal information out there, but I have played in front of him. I've offered him a live play. I've showed him the files on my PC, I've showed him the videos, the fact that I do have the raw footage, just that I wouldn't give it to him because of all the risks of giving my personal info out. Uh, and despite all of this, he's still writing an exposal document, or sorry, making an exposal video. Uh, and so many people have told him that all of the content that he covers in that video is just blatantly untrue. But despite this, he won't take down the video. This is because he is arrogant, to put it simply. Uh, I spoke to him myself, and upon speaking to him, I'm now blocked. He doesn't want to be proven wrong, really. And 1818, the head administrator in the Top Towers community, has also spoken to him. And in 1818's conversation with Slicerr, Slicerr admits that he only uploaded the video out of pettiness. He says that he only uploaded the video because I timed him out in the Top Towers community for constantly bringing up drama. Uh, he refuses to believe any examples that he was given for things that are explainable in my videos, like frame skipping, and he's been given ways to see splice recordings and brushed it all off. In my personal opinion, I think that the only reason why Slicerr is accusing me and why he won't drop it is because he's jealous. When I first beat COIV, he started off by calling it illegitimate before I even provided any footage that could say that it isn't legit, before he could say, oh, it's cuts, or oh, it's do account on your account, or there's any difference in playstyle, anything like that. He assumed immediately that it wasn't legit, and then upon finding out that it was actually legit, he resorted to saying that I was time capping since I said that I took 43 hours on it, which is actually just a true statement. The next thing I want to talk about is again about Slicerr and his personal vendetta against me. Uh, this opinion that was formed of me started when I deleted his Tower of Blind Fate win. This is because his win used GBJ escapes, making it not legit. And ever since then, he's accused me quite a lot of different things, and I think it's quite emotionally charged. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that, especially considering that the video that he made was admitted to be made out of pettiness, that he's unwilling to reason with me despite all the proof that I've given him, all the exclusive gameplay I've seen him see with like live plays and letting him see all the files on my computer. It's just not really something that I can do anything about anymore, as nothing's really going to be enough for him when he's emotionally charged in every aspect of these accusations. The next thing I'm going to be doing is, since I believe all the allegations against me have been covered in this video already, I'm going to put a short live play of stargazing on screen. This isn't a very difficult run. I could definitely get better if I tried, but it's quite difficult for me to record live play. I would either have to ask somebody else to record me playing, which is first off quite embarrassing to do, or I would have to balance my phone somewhere, which isn't really possible in my room. Obviously, you guys can't see the layout of my room, but next to me is my bed, and then on the other side of me is a wall. So I can't really put the phone anywhere that's level with me to show the gameplay. The next thing that I want to say is that if anyone has any questions that they want to ask me or anything that they're suspicious about, instead of writing an exposal document or writing anything speculatory and not really giving me any way to reason with you, instead just add me on Discord and ask me the questions, ask me why I didn't give something or what you don't understand about something, because I'm open to answering all questions about my legitimacy. And to finish off the video, I would just like to say that uh, I feel like I've been treated quite unfairly in this situation. I've not really been given much weight of reason with anybody who thinks I'm unlegit. Uh, I've been given constant disrespect and not heard out on anything. If you check the comments of Slicerr's video, uh, mine is actually pinned, and in the replies, people are just ridiculing me instead of actually reading what I have to say. Uh, I've done everything that I can, and I don't really understand what more people want from me. I think that it's especially unfair that someone can produce something so emotionally charged against me and not provide any real evidence that I did anything that they claim I did in the video, yet have so many people believe them and be on their side. I find it kind of ridiculous that people would rather follow uh, a video produced solely because someone's petty or solely because they're jealous of things that I can do and they can't do. And I don't know, I just hope that in the future the community treats me a little bit better, as I've always been open to answering questions about my legitimacy, and I've always been open to like giving people what they want. It's just in some situations, like with the COIV raw, I just can't hand it over. I'm not going to put my personal details at stake like that. In the future, all of my completions will have the raw footage in the description. Uh, if they don't, there will be at least a reason in the description why it's not there, and the raw footage will be handled privately with somebody who I trust from the top towers, just as the COIV raw was with the former owner. I'd like to thank anybody who actually watched through this video, and thank you for hearing me out, as it's not a courtesy that people have really given me over the last few months. And just before this video ends, I would like to apologize to anybody who felt deceived by anything that I uploaded, or any of my friends who I mistreated in the heat of this situation, because it's not really something that I stand for. I'm not a very spiteful person. I don't mean to hurt anyone or deceive them. It's just not who I am. That should be it now, though, so thank you all for listening to me, and goodbye.